it's me, Jo, from Jo's Sleep and Slim Down Journey, and I'm really excited to be here. Literally, I don't know if excitement or energy. I am so energized today. It could very well be because last week's video secured me so many new subscribers. So I want to say hello to everybody who's in my is now part of the community. A little bit about me. I'm Jo. I'm 48 years old, nearly 49. I'm 5'5", and I live in Nottingham. For my French speakers, je m'appelle Jean. J'habite dans le centre de l'Angleterre. I don't know if that sounded good or not. I don't think my GSC French teacher would have approved me on that. But my point is, I love the size of the community. I love the fact that the community is growing. I love the fact that you guys are at least enjoying my videos enough to watch. But what I really love is you guys know that I am housebound at the moment. So it's so lovely to chat to you all via the comments. So the first thing then, I said I'm from Nottingham in the England, UK. Please pop in the comments. Where are you guys from? Which country, which town, which city, what landmark? You know, those things that will help me understand where you're from. So far, I think the furthest person who is watching my videos is from Derby. So I'm wondering how big the community is, how widespread. Again, those that have already joined us, they've been sharing their non-scale victories in the comments. We've had people going to parties. People where their inflammation is improved so that the joints are feeling better. People that are just finding it great motivation just having a community available. So please share your NSVs in the comments below. I want to tell you about one of my NSVs today. I want to introduce you to Colin, my new cane. Hey, Hoberman, hey, Daffodin. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I name everything Colin. Remember, my CPAP machine's Colin. I name anything that, you know, is an inanimate object that actually has a real purpose to it. So maybe he's not Colin. Maybe he's not even a he. You know, we don't know what gender it is. So if you've got a great name for my cane, you know, maybe Candy Cane. Maybe Len, lean on me. I've got to stop singing. I do not sing very well. So I'm gonna open up to you guys. What should my new cane be named? I love it. The moment I received it yesterday, I was doing laps around the house. It's so, to think that, was it last week I was celebrating the fact that I'm standing for 1 minute brushing my teeth, and now I'm doing laps around the house. You know, I've still got my my heart rate issues, so I've got to be gentle. But it's not going to be long before I'm out there. You know, I mean, obviously I'll have to cover my arms. I have to cover my other arms, not only because they're my bingo wings. Do you think one of these is actually bigger than the other? I think my right one's bigger than my left. Stop shaking my bingo wings at you. Anyway, so I've got to cover it anyway because I suffer from photosensitivity, which means that I have to put on factor 50 because my skin just explodes in hives and they then turn into sores or folliculitis. So that's what I have to do. But for now, I'm thinking walk around the house, put a cardigan on, put my factor 50 on, and just walk up and down the street just to strengthen myself up. I think I'm actually a couple of weeks away from that actually. So I have a walking pad. You know, one of those walking pads. When I first started working from home, it was great to have my my walking pad so I could keep energised. So I'm going to use my walking pad again, and because it's adjustable on the height, just pulled it off. But because it's adjustable, I should be able to do that whilst I'm on this walking pad platform. The other great thing about it is, look at that. it folds down. Once I adjusted that, I'll be back down to that. That could very easily fit into my shoulder bag. My mum says I carry too much in my shoulder bag. But I could get Colin in it. So that is one of my first NSVs. The second NSV is, I'm going to come close. Can you see? I'm not sure if you can see. You know, I'm a woman of 48, 49 nearly, 49 in 2 months. I used to definitely have at least one of the number 11s. You know, where, you know, as we age, we get wrinkles and you get like the number 11 that appears just about here. I definitely had a defined one. But I don't know, can you see it? Has it disappeared? What's happened to it? Well, I like to think it could be down to collagen and the amino acids that are found in collagen, because I am making a point now. I've been binge watching my 600 Pound Life because I love how they transform from being housebound into being able to do so many other things. But one thing is that I haven't got my very own doctor now, so I'm not got anyone who's going to be able to get rid of these bingo wings for me. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that I start paying close attention to supporting my skin, and that's why I'm taking a dietary collagen capsule. So this is actually what happens with collagen. You know, there's been studies on it, but what actually happens is when it gets ingested, and the stomach acids the acids in the stomach, they don't kill it all off. It actually makes its way to the small intestine and breaks down into three key components: glycine, proline, and glutamic acid. There's more about this on Dr. Arsalan's Aspire's channel. I'll put a link in the comments below. But that works, especially in terms of skin structure. I mean, collagen helps with gut health as well. But in terms of skin and the skin structure, the skin's made from like a dermis layer, and then it's got fibroblasts that sort of like hold it together. So as we age, that's where the fibroblasts are weakening, or as we lose weight, the fibroblasts weaken, and then like that. Well, the collagen is actually supposed to work a bit like a scaffolding, and it supports those weakened fibroblasts, which is brilliant, isn't it? So hopefully this is the worst my bingo wings are going to get. What I've been doing is I've also been putting in I've been applying lotions. In fact, you can put some great lotions in. I've got this area on my neck, which apparently this is a ring to show. If you've got this dark velvety ring around your neck, Professor Bickman says that almost certainly means you've got insulin resistance. I can't remember the name of what the ring's called. Once I find it, I'll pop it in the comments. But it's a sign of insulin resistance, especially if you're getting skin tags around it as well. So I'm using a stronger a stronger lotion for this area. I'm using, hold on, let me grab it. This, particularly for that area, because this is good for the eczema, because this is another thing, I also get eczema around here. So use it for that. But what I'm also using is, I'm cheap. I have, you know, I've always been a fan of aromatherapy. So I've got a huge store of different aromatherapy oil, essential oils. So I just use that. I get a tablespoon of jojoba oil. That's going to be my carrier oil. And then I add 3 drops of rosehip oil and 5 drops of sea buckthorn oil. Got a bit of a burp there. It's not a sulphurous one though. Maybe I just need to, I'll roll on my belly in a bit just to get rid of some of that excess gas. But yeah, so what I do is I mix that together. But you could do whatever you like if you've got a really good lotion. In fact, I'm going to put another link in the comments of Gem's new channel where she's showing different lifestyle hacks. She's been losing weight on Mounjaro and she calls it a turkey neck. She's used a product called Pry and she includes a link in there to purchase it. So that's why I'm putting the link in the chat. And you can see the difference in only 10 days. So use whichever lotion that's got, it's definitely either collagen rich, retinol or vitamin A. And sorry. So use those. I use this, and when you're doing it, massage it into your skin. The significance is the massage part. I mean, for one thing, it feels good and it smells amazing. But if you do it this way, you know, so you're doing it so that it's going towards your heart. So if I'm doing it on my arms and legs, I'll be doing that, you know, up. If I'm doing it on my stomach, I'll be going up towards my heart. If I was doing it on my décolletage, is that how you say it? Décolletage? I don't know. But you move it down towards your heart. That helps with the lymph drainage. So, collagen, so useful. I, in fact, make my own collagen capsules. You can buy a hydrolyzed collagen from any chemist or, what's it called? Healthcare store, even on Amazon. I'm going to put a link to Kieran's video because in his description he includes a link to the collagen supplement that he uses. But I make my own. Again, I'm cheap. What I do is I buy dietary grade beef gelatin and dietary grade chicken gelatin. So chicken gelatin actually is it's a glucosamine. You know, if you've got a problem with your knee joints or your elbow joints, you know, just to help, you know, protect the collagen that's between, you know, those joints. Then that's what chicken gelatin is really, really good for. Beef gelatin is definitely the stuff that's good for skin and gut health, but also cognitive support. In fact, that's reminded me, when Des, remember I've mentioned Des before, when they were doing their biomedical chemistry degree and had to do their exams, I was like, right, Auntie Jo Mentman, I'm going to send them 3 kilos of traditional jelly babies, because jelly babies are lovely, but the traditional ones are actually made with beef gelatin. And you know, although it was like, Auntie Jo, what are you sending me these for? And I says, do you know what? Just eat a handful every day that you're doing your revision, because it's really good for you know, what are they called? The synapses, the neurons, you know, and maybe it works, I don't know, maybe it works a little bit like that scaffolding structure with the fibroblast. Maybe it works equally as well on the you know, the connections in the brain. You've got to watch Dr. Arsalan's video there. He'll explain it better. Anyway, I'm digressing. So what I do when I make my own, I've got gelatin capsules and I put 2 parts beef gelatin to 1 part chicken gelatin. Again, that will work just as well because it's the amino acids that are in collagen and gelatin that is so important. Again, there are vegan options. So for Lizzie the vegan, who's part of the community, you can get vegetable capsules. You can get vegan plant-based collagen, or you know, that's available from those same providers. So take a look. You don't have to be animal product, but I eat a lot of chicken and I eat a lot of beef, so that's why I'm using beef and chicken anyway. So, what's the next thing I want to talk about? Oh yes, I was mentioning the lymphatic system and the importance of the lymphatic drainage. Well, I also bought myself a vibration plate. Great exercise tool. It's got the resistance bands and it's got the resistance holders as well. You probably see I've got some on the back of my chair when I used to do that a lot. While I was sitting, but now I've also got another opportunity to do resistance bands, and what that does is, for 10 minutes, it's the vibrations. Can you see me doing that? Because it works 3 ways, vibrates 3 ways. It's phenomenal. But what that does is it shakes up the lymphatic system, and it improves lymphatic drainage. So if you're getting signs of, apparently it's supposed to help really well with lipedema. It's supposed to be really good at draining the lymphatic fluid from the area that's getting blocked in, and making it work so much, its optimal best. So that's why you use it. In fact, it feels fantastic. I'm not able to stand on it yet. Remember, I'm still unsteady on my feet with my poor inflamed toes. But I did manage 1 minute the other day on it, and then just standing, and doing the resistance balance. It's amazing. It's incredible. Which actually takes me on to my next point: weight loss. My weight loss for this week. Yes, I lost some weight this week. I put on 0.5 kilo last week, and as you know, I think it impacted my ability to take that extended trip to the loo. I'm using that phrase because my mum watches this. So what I did was, on the Friday and the Saturday, I ate lots of green fibrous veg, as well as taking my fibre supplements. And sure enough, I think it was Sunday night, it was a traumatic experience on the loo, but I came out of there transcendent. It was a moment, but thankfully, whatever was blocking there was released. And I continued throughout the week, and managed to get a 2 kilo weight loss, which equates to just slightly under 4.5. So I'm going to say it's 4 pounds. Here's Miss Mary. So in total, I've lost 12 kilos and 26 pounds in 6 weeks. That is amazing. I am amazed. I'm happy with that. Come on, Miss Mary, let's go and get the jab. Let's go and get the pen. Okay, speaking of pens, I need to tell you what else happened this week. So I put an urgent post out to the community. Don't know if it was Monday or was it Tuesday. Sparkle, she'll be able to tell me. And it was because, you remember last week I was saying that I was hearing the food noise? Well, again, the food noise was very, very loud on that day. We keep hearing the ice cream truck keep passing. It was louder than that. Oh my goodness. And it was a real chore to stay on track. Seriously, in fact, I'm saying it was a chore. At the start of the week, I was still in that fibromyalgia flare-up. But if I'd have had Colin, oh my God, I'd have been going out to that ice cream van several times. Because there was no stopping the noise. So I put an urgent call out there. Guys, I need your help. What should I do? I said, what should I do? The noise is insane. Shall I go and take another 2.5 mg dose? Just take it up to 5 megs. Because it was week 6. So I chose to take the 2.5 pen as a second pen rather than titrating up to 5. Wise Mounjaro said maybe it wasn't a wise decision. It wasn't a wise Mounjaro decision for now. But technically we'd still have 5 megs available. So it was like, shall I take the second dose or not? So on that day I did, and I'm so thankful that you guys came to my aid, offered that advice, and I made the decision that yes, I'm going to take the extra amount. So what I did, just priming the pen there. I've not done that for a while. Not prime the pen, I always prime the pen, but flick tip. But yes, so what I did was I took the extra 2.5, and it was definitely either Monday afternoon or Tuesday, because it was definitely 3 days since I took the jab on Friday. So this time round, I think I'm going to take this 2.5 dose again today, because there's another 3 days between the last time I had it. If the problem continues, I'm definitely going to take the additional 2.5 on Monday and Tuesday. However, I cannot take it on Wednesday. Why? Because Wednesday is not 3 days between before Friday, and Fridays is my injection day. So I'm going to go and wind this up now. I've got my dungarees on today, so I'm actually going to just stop filming for a moment so I can take down my dungarees and pop it in my thigh. Oh my goodness. Stay there a second, baby. I want to show you something. Can you see that? Can you see that the needle's bent? So, what happened there? Oh my God. Was it last week I was mentioning my massive boobs? Note to self, do not watch as you're pushing down the needle in the sharps bin, because there is still a needle available at the other end of that attachment. Oh my God. So, we all know it doesn't hurt. The needle doesn't hurt. But remember I was mentioning my massive boobs last week, and the fact that despite the fact that they're massive, my belly used to be bigger than my stomach. Well, that made it easier to at least jab into my belly when I was doing injections. But now my boobs are bigger. I've got this it's not an insane, it's just like an instinctive need to want to see what I'm doing. But I suffer from Raynaud's. So what I did was I was trying to jab into the top of my thigh, my left thigh, and my boobs like that. So I was trying to, I got my thing in the pen needle in my thigh. But then I'm trying to do that and move around and then try and jab, and I'm like, oh my God, my Raynaud's. Then the next thing you know, I'm noticing that there's dose coming out onto my skin, pulled it out, and the needle was that crooked shape. And even worse, I'd drawn blood. Again, it wasn't, you don't feel the blood, you don't normally feel the pen, but it's really important that when you are jabbing yourself, you hold the pen straight so that you're not bending the needle. If has anyone else had any problems bending the needle, or drawing blood, it could have been down to that. If you are struggling, try and get someone to give you a hand doing it. So many people do that when they do this part of their arm. Show me this part. This is less bingo wings than the other one. But when they're trying to inject into this part of the arm, it's so much easier to have somebody else help you do that and still maintain that straight on process. So it's a shame I didn't capture it on film, for the views. But it's really important that we understand that's what happened. And if it's happened to you, maybe that's why it happened. It was definitely because I was trying to see beyond my massive boobs. Moving swiftly on from massive boobs, let's talk about the other Colin. Colin, my CPAP Colin upstairs. Colin again has done me proud this week. Last night I managed to get just over 9 hours sleep, which meant that I was waking up. I'm sorry that the camera's moving. The cat is behind my laptop and is just wiggling it around. Now she's definitely been a pain in the arse. Sorry, talking about Colin upstairs. My CPAP machine. Sorry, Mum. There's no man trapped upstairs. not at the moment. Right, come on, settle myself, Joe. Settle myself. So, Colin, I got 9 hours of sleep last night. Woke up, not woke up. There were 3 instances of not breathing every hour, that on average. And to be fair, I think that was because Miss Mary's now joining me for bedtime. And definitely, I woke up last night and she was on my chest. So maybe that was why. Did I not just say I'm moving away from massive boobs? Maybe that was one of the reasons why I woke up, and that fudged the average. Um, Miss Mary's my world, bless her. You know, I'll maybe shout at her today, but if you're a fan of the channel, you know already she's my world. Um, we eat together, we watch TV together. You know, we're on the vibration plate together. So in fact, we do eat together. I just want to show you some of the foods that I eat. Um, because some of you may or may not have remembered that with me having the IBS, with the diarrhea element, I was sent to a FODMAP dietitian on the NHS 10 years ago. She was wonderful. And we went through and we restricted, first of all, we had to restrict all complex carbs because they're the things that are the FODMAPs that are made of. And then slowly we introduced one FODMAP group at a time. I always get them wrong, so I'll just put a list in the description of what the different FODMAPs are. Um, in fact, actually, just remember my beef shin hairy that was on about last week, which now as I think about it was delicious. That had onion and garlic, and I think that's the oligosaccharide part of the FODMAPs. And normally, or certainly when I was tested back then, that was one of the most reactive FODMAPs. I would get a really bad reaction from that one. My stomach bloating, sulfur burps, 2 days on the loo, really bad. So this time I didn't have it when I had my beef shin nahari, but maybe I did have a touch of water retention from the inflammation. Maybe that was why I had a half kilo gain last week. Anyway, no, I keep digressing. My point is, it was in Karen's last video when she was talking about reflecting on the sustainability of your food choices. And she said, I'm going to put a link in the to her channel in that video right here, in the comments as well. But what she was explaining that, you know, if you look to your future self, it's going to be slim, healthier, living the life that you want. Are you doing that while still eating the same foods that you're eating now? Can you imagine forever living on the food choices you're making now? So, you know, maybe you're only doing slim fast shakes or protein smoothies. Maybe you're doing intermittent fasting where you're only eating one alternate days, perhaps. You know, maybe you're cutting out high fat foods or high carb foods. You know, can you imagine doing that once you get slim and life is good again? Or life is better again, sorry. The medication is not about making you just slim. It's about making life better. Now, if you can't, Karen said we really should try a different choice of foods that we're eating now, because if you're relying on only eating 700 calories a day, for example, that's not sustainable. So you're gonna put the weight back on. You can, in fact, the Mounjaro, the medication, you can in fact lose weight regardless of what you're eating on this particular medication. You know, you could attempt to eat a Snicker bar 4 times a day. You wouldn't eat the full Snicker bar, but then at the end of the week, you'd notice you've lost some weight. That just reminded me of right, a couple of years ago, I said a couple of years ago, it's probably about 15 years ago now, someone suggested I try the chocolate diet, where all you're supposed to eat, you're not supposed to eat anything else other than chocolate. Well, at the end of the 4 weeks, I put on nearly 2 stone. But it was the best 4 weeks of my life. It was amazing. I was eating every chocolate, but I put on all this weight. If Mounjaro was around back then, I could have done the chocolate diet and still lost weight. That's what we're trying to say. You cannot continue to eat like that once the medication's gone. So, as Jackie was saying, try to make wiser choices about the foods that you're eating. So you and I both know that me and Miss Mary share a tin of tuna when I'm making one of my delicious tuna salads. Or I make, I don't think I'll ever be able to introduce all high FODMAPs back to my diet. So I make a really delicious rub to go on my chicken. In fact, I'll share that in the comments below. It's a rub that it still makes it flavourful, lovely, spicy, but there's no foods that will cause an inflammatory reaction for me. So yeah, that's really good to hear. But yeah, it's really about making those food choices, listening to your body. Another great example was what Jem mentioned in her video, her recent video this week, where she was on about the food noise and the hunger cues. They are different. She's identified that they're different. So let's listen out for the hunger cues and differentiate whether it is different from that food noise that's just keep trying to get you to loiter around the fridge. On that note, I want you to share the great tips, the nuggets of information, the real good advice that you've experienced, that has worked for you, that you've heard on different groups. You know, this GLP community is so giving. And so for those of you that are liking my videos as well, share in there the great tips and guidance that you've heard. Share it in the comments. But yeah, until then, have a great week. The sun's shining. Apparently there's a heat wave coming in the UK. So brace yourselves, those of us that struggle in the heat. Consider having a fan available. And I will say, sleep well, slim down, and I'll see you next time.